Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another episode of Mind Your Puckin' Business with your host, Jeffrey Krensman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks, coming to you as always from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey. This is the Mind Your Puckin' Business podcast, brought to you, of course, by our good friends, the Bamboozle Project. We encourage you to check them out. MYPB promo code, free shipping. Winter is coming. Go check out the Bamboozle Project for sure.
Absolutely.
This is episode 90, Noventa, on the Spanish dial for those tuning in on the SAP feature. We appreciate that. We hope we sound okay in Spanish. No promises on that for sure. You can send your questions at any time to mypbshow@gmail.com, as well as DM us on Instagram, which is a very popular way that we answer questions. We interact with you. And we're going to take some of your frustrations that we've gotten on that platform the last couple of Ranger games. We'll take that in a couple of minutes. You can listen to the show many different ways: YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, whatever your platform of choice is. You can find us there. We thank all four of those platforms for hosting us. And we are off and running. How are we today, sir?
We're doing great. We had a little bit of technical difficulty.
We did.
We ironed it all out.
You know, I have to say here, the staff of Undefeated Media, we were about to go live, I would say maybe, 10 minutes ago. And there was like a last minute hiccup. Now, what that hiccup is, you might as well be in Chinese to me. I don't do anything technical. But the big leagues here got involved, and literally 10 minutes later, we are up and running. So credit to the technical staff here at the Undefeated Media.
Speedy recovery.
Yeah, whatever the problem was, I don't even know what the problem was, because they fixed it.
Huge problem. It was an audio problem. No audio.
Yeah, speaking of a problem.
Yes.
The week the Rangers have just had has been a nightmare problem. So we were on last Wednesday. Again, we've had our little, and this is on us. We've had our little mix-ups on what days we're going to be on. We haven't been consistently on Tuesdays. Last week, I believe, Undefeated Media had something. I was in Texas for work on Tuesday. We will be back to Tuesdays next week. Don't worry. So we were on Wednesday last week, and when we were on Wednesday, the Rangers at that point, and it wasn't a lot going on, but it had been 4 games. We're basically on autopilot, cruising through the first 4 games. Everything was looking great. Some morons are texting us, well, they could really go 82-0. Possible. And since last Wednesday, when you and I worked together, it has been the complete polar opposite. Thursday night, they played a winless San Jose Shark team at home with ex-coach David Quinn. So you would actually like to think, now I don't know if this happens with athletes, but it happens with me as a fan. I'd like to think that certain athletes on the team, or maybe even a little more motivated to play well, to show their old coach who didn't play them as much, which is why he got fired. Hey, look, here's what I'm capable of. So you're playing a winless team at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe they entered the game, I want to say it was 0-5 when San Jose came to town, and lost in overtime.
Wow.
Now, the problem in that game to me, and there was a lot, but I'm going to, timing is of the essence here on Mind Your Puckin' Business. And we got to give it to you right, what you need to know. The third period, where the Rangers were tied against San Jose, was easily the worst period I have seen the Rangers play in multiple years. I mean, it was basically like, let me put it to you this way. You know that I play on an adult hockey team, right? There are different divisions because they flight teams accordingly. I am in the lowest division, meaning the worst division, right? I take no shame in that. That third period would be like taking my team and playing against the team that was in the top division. Like, it just wasn't even competitive. And it shouldn't even have been like that, because the Rangers are a better team with than the Sharks were. So then, you can take a bad game once in a while. It happens. Look, in 1994, when the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, and there's excerpts in Mike Keane and a book about this I remember reading 20 years ago. The Rangers lost to Anaheim, who was an expansion team. It was like their 4th ever game, and they lost at home on the beginning of the season. It happens. It's one game. What you don't like right now is it's not one game anymore, because on Sunday night, you played another bad team in Columbus, and they just ran through the Garden and won. I believe it was 5-1 final.
Wow.
The other night, they apparently, now I am going to say
full disclosure, I did not see a lot of the game Tuesday night because I was on a plane back from Texas. And by the time I got home at 1 a.m., I wasn't going to rewatch it. When I had 1,000 texts from it during the game, I knew what happened without watching it. The Rangers seemed to play a little bit better. They didn't win. They got a point in a shootout. You even told me, because you watched this, I'm going to trust you because we know you're a hockey maven now. This is what Mind Your Fucking Business has done for you. Is that they should have won. And I know they had a power play in overtime and they came close, a couple chances. You played the defending Stanley Cup champion. You had chances to win. You lost and got a point. I can live with that. I can. Right? Last night, though, at Long Island, the Rangers just basically failed to show up and lost 3-0. And what's concerning about last night, and last night I did watch the whole game, is it felt like, and somebody texted this to me during the game, and it's a perfect example of what was going on last night. The Rangers were skating through this game last night like it was a preseason game. Like, passes weren't connecting. Guys were out of spots. Pucks were being dropped to the point. I remember it played from Lindgren, went all the way down to the other end of the ice. It just was like way out of sync. And as in sync as the Rangers were in the first week, they are now equally out of sync in the second week. And it begs a question, which is, and this is the question that we've gotten a couple times here in the last 24 hours. And actually, it was before the game last night, so I'm going to assume we're going to get it more today as well. Is it time to panic? Are you pushing the panic button as a Ranger fan based on what you saw this week? Here's the answer. Here's my opinion. I'm not going to push the panic button. However, there are definitely areas of concern here that need to be addressed. The Rangers are struggling to find line combinations that work. We talked about it here on the show, and it's now coming to be an issue that in preseason, the line juggling and the acts of moving guys around that didn't allow players to get consistent with their line mates, I think now is coming into play, because you are still seeing at the end of October, there is no consistency at all whatsoever between these lines. So that is part of it. You know, we've gotten a lot of questions about Chris Kreider. And Chris Kreider, we said it here, Dan Rosen said it here, any Ranger fan, even the most optimistic of Ranger fans would have told you this, that Chris Kreider was not scoring over 50 goals again. What happened last year, Dan Rosen, when I asked him this question 3 weeks ago, said, look, everything went right for him. Everything broke the right way, whether it was on the power play and whatnot. Chris Kreider is not scoring goals 5-on-5. He's not really a huge 5-on-5 goal scorer. And if he's not scoring on the power play, which he's not, because the power play hasn't been good the last week, guess what? He's not going to score. So there's issues there. I don't know that I pin this all on Chris Kreider, because I don't. There's a lot more going on. Alexis Lafreniere, again, I love the guy. I want to believe the hype, but I'd like to see more. Mika Zibanejad was great the first week. He has not been good. Artemi Panarin has been very good. Defensively, I don't think they've been that great. Igor Shesterkin has not been Igor. Now, Igor Shesterkin not being Igor, it does not mean that he's terrible, but he just hasn't been out of his mind crazy good. And look, the thing with Yaroslav Halak, who now drops to 0-3 on the year, he didn't get a lot of offensive support in Winnipeg. His first game he played, they scored 1 goal. They scored 1 goal against Columbus the other night, and they scored no goals last night with Halak in net. So they've scored a total of 2 goals in 3 games when Halak's been in net. It's hard to pin that on a backup goalie if your team's not scoring, right? But the expectation, this was another thing that we talked about. The expectation has to be that when Yaroslav Halak is in net, and Vegas is agreeing with this point, if you look every day, because it doesn't matter who the Rangers play, when Halak's in net, they're in the underdog, is that the expectation is going to have to be a little bit lower, but the Rangers are going to need to score, because if you have a backup goalie and you're not scoring, you might as well put your mortgage on the other team. I mean, if you're not going to score and you got a backup goalie, and you know what's going to happen. So is it time to panic? No. The Rangers have an interesting schedule now. They have a really weird weekend. They go to Dallas. And unfortunately, I couldn't stay in Dallas a couple more days to see them there. They go to Dallas on a Saturday, and Dallas is playing really well. One of the surprise teams in the league. And then they will fly another 2 hours to play a back-to-back in Phoenix. Arizona Coyotes now play at Arizona State University, which is another story in itself for another show. And the Rangers will go out there and play. So it's 2 games back in 24 hours. Although I guess the Saturday game's an afternoon, but it's 2 games in 2 days, back-to-back days. There's a pretty good amount of travel, and the team's not playing well. And the Dallas team that you're playing is playing really well. So I don't know here what you want to expect over the weekend. To me, if you're trying to right the ship and you know that you have back-to-backs, I'd almost sit here and say, you know what, if I get 2 out of 4 points, somehow maybe I win a game or I lose both in overtimes. If I get 2 points, maybe I settle for that. They then come home on Tuesday, and we'll be on Tuesday, and welcome back old coach John Tortorella's Flyers, who are not a good team, but are playing well. So, and then actually on Thursday, they have the Boston Bruins coming to town. So the schedule does not get easy here at all for them as they try and navigate some not so smooth seas here in the last week. So to answer the question, do I think it's panic time for the Rangers? No, it's not. But you really want to start seeing some line consistencies and lines that can develop chemistry that are working, because that is part of the problem here for sure. And this was something we said in the preseason that was going to be an issue. And literally 2 weeks into the season, we have that as an issue.
Do you think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves? Like, we were really good the first week, and then we thought we were too good, too cool for school. And then we're not we're playing these bad teams and we're just flopping because we think we're too good.
Well, here's where I like your question. At the end of the season, when you look back, right? So we're going to fast forward here to April. The weather will be nicer outside, all that stuff. And we'll be starting the playoffs and our playoff coverage, right? Always in hockey, points matter so much, right? So if you lose, the 2 points that you could have had versus Columbus the other night, the extra point you should have had versus San Jose, that's 3 points, right? I almost guarantee you that wherever the Rangers finish in the standing, the team above them will be within 3 points. So it ends up hurting. You've got to beat the bad teams in this league. And right now, again, as optimistic as we were a week ago, and every Ranger fan was, they weren't going to stay at that pace. However, a week later, for it to be the polar opposit,
and the teams you got to beat.
Yeah, you've got to beat bad teams. And now, if I am Gerard Gallant, I almost look at this back-to-back situation this weekend and do what I don't want to do and say, look, Igor, you're starting both of them, because like a cut, when it starts to bleed, if you don't stop the bleeding, it's going to get worse.
Need some momentum.
You need some momentum. So hopefully they do well out in Dallas and Phoenix. They come home and we'll deal with the Flyers on Tuesday. So the way our taping schedule, being that we're on today on Thursday the 27th, they only play twice between when we're on again on Tuesday. So we'll see how they do in the West Coast. So is it time to panic? No. But again, you want to see certain issues here addressed and start to be a little bit more comfortable with it. And it starts with these line combinations, which was the issue out of training camp. Good.
Absolutely.
You're in agreement with that?
Yep.
And nice work on the back end, because I'm watching it on our screen.
Oh,
It was
you.
something I forgot to do. So I appreciate you doing that out there on the fly. I mean, nobody better than you, buddy. So around the league stuff, we'll save that for next week. We're going to roll now. We have a really cool guest today. We're going to try and get her in. I see she's in our virtual waiting room, and this is actually the 2022. So we're very current here at Mind Your Puck Business, right? We're not bringing you like a winner from 2013, like not hot off the press here. This is the 2022 NFL Fan of the Year, and we'll bring her in. This is Allie Goodman. How are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
We are good. Now, if you are watching on the video feed, I think you can tell what fan of the team you are. I didn't tease it, but I think you can tell with the blue hair and the dolphin in the background that this is Allie Goodman, the 2022 NFL Fan of the Year for the Miami Dolphins. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This is very exciting.
This is cool. We are glad to have you. And I have some questions for you, but we'll put up your handle. Why don't we put up her Instagram handle for those that want to follow, and you can make sure, is that spelled right?
That is spelled right. Yes.
We literally just did it on the fly. Perfect. So if you are on the Instagram platform, I encourage you to follow her. That's Dolfreaky. You will be insanely jealous of Allie, because I have seen in the last month, as the weather here deteriorates in the Northeast, I'm looking at pictures of her tailgating every week in beautiful South Florida. And it makes you wonder why we don't all become Dolphin fans and move to Florida. So, all right, Allie. So let's talk about this award. So really cool. Give me a little bit of background on the NFL Fan of the Year award.
Yeah. So this is it's in its third year. So it's a new contest that the NFL is running. And basically every NFL team gets to pick a candidate that represents their community. And it's based on, your fandom. It's based on things that you do for the community. And so there's a lot of, different judging criteria, but it's all based on nominations. And so nominations can come from other fans, you can nominate yourself. And so as you can probably imagine, there's a lot of people that are in the running for this sort of thing. There's so many different fans doing all different kinds of things all over the NFL. So the Dolphins have chosen me, which is not something that I ever imagined happening to me. Like, it's just, the Dolphins are my life. Like, if you follow my Instagram, like my entire Instagram is Dolphins content, and it's, I've been a Dolphin fan for about 22 years, and it all kind of started out with my dad. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and he was just a diehard Dolphins fan and a diehard Rangers fan. So that's how I fall into the Rangers category as well. But yeah, so he just kind of raised us as Dolphins fans, and Sundays were it was about football, and you had no other choice, And so, then basically he started taking us to games in Miami, and I just fell in love with everything that Miami had to offer. I fell more in love with the team and with the fans and the culture and the tailgating culture. And of course, as you mentioned, the weather. And I just loved Florida. And so ultimately I ended up moving to Florida and became a season ticket holder and just got more engaged with the community as time went on.
So the community is a good thing to mention, because one of my questions. I'll skip to it. You did a lot of really good charity work with Hurricane Ian down there. I saw you really involved with the community, and you became, and I guess this was now a month ago, the hurricane, right? It's been, or even over a month, maybe. You really were organizing a ton of different things on the west coast of Florida to try and help I remember seeing something you put up with meals for people that were helping. I mean, you really were involved. So I give you a lot of credit, because you've kind of used this platform that you've created for yourself, which is impressive. And you've really taken it to be a good, helpful thing for people in those situations. So, thank you for being as involved in the community as you are. So talk to me about, how far are you from the stadium there?
So I'm about an hour and 45 minutes from the stadium. So I live in Naples, Florida. So I'm right in the heart of Southwest Florida and in the heart of the hurricane, zone. So we go across the state for every home game. And sometimes we spend a weekend over there, but the drive really doesn't bother me. And on the away games, I'm here. We're hosting watch parties because I am the co-founder of Southwest Florida Dolphin Club. So we do watch parties here locally for the away games. But yeah, as you said, like with the hurricane and everything, I've lived in Southwest Florida for 8, almost 9 years now. And it's my home. And so, to see something devastating happen in your backyard, you can't just, sit there and do nothing, especially having the platform that I have. And I did feel, I know Dolphin Nation and how charitable they are and how generous and how our community bands together for a variety of causes. And so, I'm not going to lie, like, during the first couple of days after the hurricane hit, it was hard and it was very depressing. And, we had just lost Tua. And so our team was, going down the drain a little bit, and everything was just very down in the dumps. And so, I kind of said, I need to get off social media. Like, it's just too much right now. I'm going to just go and volunteer my time in the community and see what I could do. I knew there were volunteer groups out there doing all kinds of things. So I'm like, hey, worst case scenario, I'll go out there, I'll join up with somebody and do something. And so a few of my friends, Justin Sarles and Keith Matheny, who are, members of my club here and, well-known Dolphin fans in our community and, people that I've tailgated with for years, they were like, hey, wait, like, where are you going? Like, don't just go out, into, the hurricane, mess. And, it's dangerous. Let's do something together. Let's, create like some sort of project. And so they were like, let's go and do what we do best. Let's tailgate in Fort Myers Beach. And so what we ended up doing was we got a grill and we got our tailgating tents and we went to the store, and we were just going to start doing it out of our own pockets. But when we posted about what we were doing, people were like, how can we help? And so then funds started coming in. And so it became a huge endeavor. Like, all of a sudden, we started just going out to Fort Myers Beach right before the bridge over to the main beach, where it wasn't accessible at first. And so that was as far as you were allowed to go. So we found a clearing. We started setting up. We started cooking hot meals for the residents. Unfortunately, there were so many people who didn't leave during the storm, and they lost absolutely everything. So you could just see people kind of just walking around, milling about, like just, you can't really, until you see the devastation, like, you see it on TV, but when you're standing in the middle of it and you see people wearing the same clothes that they rode the hurricane out, and, some of the clothes are, wet from the people were literally in the floodwaters, and everything in their homes is out in the street, and, all over there's, boats and trees and, houses that were on the left side of the street or on the right side of the street. And, all of that sort of thing, was so humbling. So we were able to provide hot meals. So the first day, I think we did 500 hamburgers, and then we started switching it up every day we were out there, and we started doing, spaghetti meals and grilled cheese. And then people started coming from all over the place, bringing, trucks full of supplies and food, and just, it got so big that we were able to have a supply station in our clearing. And it was just, it was something that, it made me very proud to be a Dolphins fan, and to, to see how my community came out to help just a small group of friends do something bigger with their time and their, their energy and stuff. It was just, it's really humbling, and we're still doing it. The work's not over yet.
Oh, it's great. I mean, again, the fact that you were able to use your platform in that situation to really help out so many people was incredible. Let me ask you a couple questions about the Dolphins, because we do cover NFL stuff here. So let me ask you this. The Tua situation, your thoughts on it, or do you think the team handled it wrong? Do you think the team handled it right? Do you want to see him back? Where do you fall on the Tua spectrum?
From what I can see, the team handled it as best they could, getting multiple opinions. I think ultimately there is a lot of responsibility that lies with the player, and like how adequately they're able to express, I'm not okay, or I am okay, or I'm having this side effect, or, whatever it is. And so I don't know, all the in and outs of what went into those discussions, with the physicians. And, obviously you guys saw the main physician handling it got fired ultimately. So, there's some sort of, mishandling of the situation there. And then of course now, with the changing of the concussion protocol, and like the spotlight that's been placed on the Dolphins, and then Teddy Bridgewater goes down with a concussion, it's it's been a lot of drama. It's been a lot of drama. But now, all I'm really focused on is the fact that Tua's back, and we can hopefully get back to our success.
Now, Teddy Bridgewater went down, I believe, at the game at MetLife up here, right? And you were there, if I remember following you, right? So let me get your impression. Now, obviously, I'm sure you've been to plenty of stadiums with your fandom, but is it Hard Rock Stadium down there? Is that still what it's called? Yeah, Hard Rock Stadium versus MetLife. Obviously, the weather is better where you are. You've got us beat. What did you think of MetLife Stadium? Did you like it? Was I saw some tailgating pictures. I mean, you had a huge crowd around you. What did you think? How was your experience up here?
So it was my first time doing what we call the MetLife Takeover. And every year, I think they've been doing it for like over 10 years now. Every year, that's like the destination game. And Dolphins fans from everywhere travel to MetLife Stadium for this event. And so this year, it was just insane. Like, it was so overwhelming to see so many Dolphins fans at an away game. And so I did really, really enjoy it. And the weather was nice. Like, it was, I think it started off in the 50s. And then, as we got through the game, it was in the 70s. And so, we wore our layers. Like, it's very rare you're going to see Dolph Ricky wearing a sweatshirt, because we're used to like 90-degree games in at Hard Rock. Especially those first couple, like the preseason games and the first couple of games of the season, it is so hot. Like, it's a heat that, like, when you first open the oven, when you're baking something and that heat hits you, but it's like that, the entire day. And so it's, it was a different thing. So we wore our layers, and I was glad for that, because as the game went on, it got warmer. But in general, I was very surprised at how well received we were by the Jets fans. I was expecting some sort of hostility, and I didn't find it at all.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, the Jets do not do a lot of winning, and that day they won, and they won in a fashion that they're really not used to. So maybe that was part of it. It kind of tempered their anger that they usually bring
going into it, like, a lot of them were like, we're not gonna win, we don't win, like, we're just here for the party. And like, like, you could tell, like, they were a little bit downtrodden, like, going into it. And then
no confidence.
It was, I was like, dang. But like, we kind of feel that too a little bit. So As we went in, they were all very classy. I will say that. I mean, at least the ones that I encountered. And I think, like I'm not particularly like a smack talker. Like I'm usually the friendly fan, and so I find ways to laugh with them. And as the game went on, obviously I was devastated to see how it was going. And as we were leaving, we just say congrats, and they were cool about it. So it was it was a good experience.
Before we let you go, do you have any game day superstitions that you believe in?
A lot of people ask me that, and I really don't. Like, I don't have a special wig or like a special pair of underwear that I wear, because I've been to so many games, and I've seen so many wins and losses. So I will say right now, I have a sign and it says, "I believe that we will win." And it's an undefeated sign right now. It's been to the Bills game and also to the last game. And so we've won both games. So that sign is the lucky sign right now. But no, I don't really have anything in general. I always say a prayer, and it's just, I'm like, God, if it's meant to be, let it be.
Do you have so when you're at a game at MetLife, I'm not MetLife, at Hard Rock, and you're tailgating there, do you have a favorite tailgating meal that you guys make? Do you pick up sandwiches on the way? Or are you cooking in the parking lot? Take me through your game day.
Yeah. So if I'm going to the game, in the morning, I typically wake up at 5 a.m. Getting ready is a process. So it takes me about an hour to get ready, get my makeup. And I don't typically plan my outfits ahead of time. I might have some idea of what I'm wearing, but I need to feel the vibe and feel like what I'm going to wear. So I usually pick out my outfit the day of, and then we drive the 2 hours across. And sometimes it's just me and my husband. Sometimes we go with friends. So it's just it depends on the situation, but we usually get to the tailgate about 8:30 or 9 in the morning. So it's like an all day party, for game day. So it's very exhausting. But as far as food, I am notorious for not eating at the tailgate, because I am just talking. It's constant. People come, they want to take pictures or talking, and a lot of the tailgates I'm doing, fundraisers, or, I have something going on at every tailgate now. So with my charity that I started, Dolphriki's Friends, we've been doing clothing drives, we've been doing food drives. And so I'm busy, I'm very, very busy. And now I have, some corporate sponsors like MetaFans NFT. And so I do a little bit of promotion at their tent. And so that's usually about a half hour in the middle of the tailgate. I'll go to their tent. And basically, we're just encouraging people to sign up for, the MetaFans wallet, which is an NFT, program. And it's all fan based, and they throw down an amazing thing with games and free food and drink. So I serve up the shots to get the party going. So
when you get to kickoff, right? So now you get to 1 o'clock. After all this stuff you've done, don't you want to take a nap? I mean, you've been up since 5 a.m.
Yeah, but it's exhausting. But I'm always hyped up on adrenaline. I can't wait to go into the stadium. That's my favorite part. As much as I love the tailgate and meeting everybody and doing that, ultimately it's about the game. So I'll drink and party in the tailgate, but when we get into the game, it's business. And so my personal policy is don't drink in the game. I want to focus, I want to remember the game, and I want to understand everything that's going on. And so that in itself, being in the game, and I am part of a section called the Deep End, which are the diehard fans, and many of them kind of dress up, and they're known for being on TV. And so we take our job very seriously. And we are in charge of hyping the crowd, and so we make sure we're able to do that. And so it is very exhausting. And by the time I get home, usually I need a solid day after any given game day just to recover. If I have to work the next day, then I'm screwed for days.
There you go. Yeah, it's jet lag. So we'll put up your handle again. Follow her, Dolphriki. Look, if you're not a Dolphin fan, I still encourage you to follow her, because there's a lot of community stuff. It's really just a fun page to be around, and it'll put a smile on your face. Obviously, probably more smiles if the Dolphins are winning, of course, which you've done a fair share amount of already this year.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Congratulations again on the 2022 award. That is pretty darn cool. And come back and see us anytime you want. Anytime you want to come talk Dolphins, if you can get in the playoffs, you want to do a little playoff preview with us, more than welcome. The door's always open. Thanks,
Allie. I would love to. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. That is Allie Goodman, 2022 NFL Fan of the Year.
Nice.
So
I imagine, it's nice that they pick someone based on community service and being a good fan rather than what I imagine being 32 representatives of each team having a battle royale.
Right. Yes, I like that. I'm sure.
Right? I think there should be some kind of aspect of that.
Yeah.
I can imagine a Raider fan with spikes and stuff, like body slamming people. That would be a good entertaining show.
That would be a good entertaining show. But credit to Allie for the work that she does. And the work that she did was phenomenal during Hurricane Ian down there in that area. So staying in the NFL with our weekly picks. Last week, this was what, week 8? 7. 7. We just finished 7. We had another winning week, amazingly. I mean, we are now 6-1 on the year,
just like the Giants.
There's our producer over here, Pat, on the side, who's going to come in his Giant shirt, I believe, that he's rocking today, is all feeling it. So another winning week, amazingly around here. We go to 6-1 on the season, which is huge for us. Mm-hmm. We're going to try and keep it up here with the week 8 picks. Now, before I say that, full disclosure,
yes,
I'm not making excuses.
No excuses.
Nothing. But I want to. I just want to.
Sucks.
I just want to be fair.
This week
here.
Sucks.
No. Well, the odds of us having a winning week are the same, really, because it's 50-50 if you think about it.
Yeah, but
there was
odds, the spreads, they could all be out of your favor.
There was nothing really here.
Yeah.
That jumped at me.
I could see that.
And a lot of weeks they do. I'll have 3 or 4
a lot of trap games.
But I picked my 5 games.
Yeah.
And I did what I hate, and I never win when I do this. I picked the Thursday night game tonight. I hate doing that because it just sets off the week in the wrong foot.
Yeah.
But we're going to try and get around it. So these are your week number 8. Mind your pucking business picks. I like the Thursday night game tonight. Baltimore +1 in Tampa. Man, if you watched Tampa and Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, you were like, eh. And then you watch them in Carolina, who was awful.
Yeah.
You're like double F.
Yeah.
And Baltimore needs the game.
Yeah.
They have the better quarterback. Lamar Jackson right now is way better than Tom Brady. It isn't even close. And it's almost like a pick 'em. I understand it's a road game. Give me Baltimore +1 tonight down.
That's your easy one. That's probably your only given.
No, I don't love. Okay, the one I like most.
Okay.
If I had to pick one that I like most, is next, and that is Denver +2.5 against Jacksonville. This is a neutral site game in London. Russell Wilson is back now. I know Russell Wilson has not been Russell Wilson, but Jacksonville is Jacksonville here still, right? They lost at home to the Giants. No disrespect to the Giants, but that was a game you were favored in. Denver getting 2.5 points. I like Denver here getting 2.5 against Jacksonville in London. Paul Farrington special on the next one. I like the Vikings -3.5 at home versus Arizona. The Vikings are coming off a bye, and Arizona is just putrid. So if you can't beat Arizona by -4 at home on your home turf coming off of bus, I'm glad you find that funny. If you can't beat them by 4, then forget it. I don't know what I'm betting on.
I can't wait for that Hard Knocks to come out. They have an in-season Hard Knocks season right now being filmed with Arizona.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I can't wait for that season.
You're not gonna want to let your kids watch that. I like as well. I like, and I'm sorry about this, Dolph Freaky. I like the Lions +3.5 at home versus the Dolphins. The Lions really did not play well down there in Dallas last week. They're due to play better. They're at home, and I like the extra point coverage here with 3.5. So I'm covered by a field goal at home. So I like the Lions +3.5 at home versus the Dolphins. The other game that I like, and I don't usually like games with the spread, but I did this once this year and it won by a mile. I like the Bills on Sunday night -11 at home versus the Packers.
Wow.
They're coming off a bye. Green Bay's terrible, right? That's
a lot of points.
It's a lot of points. But how are they going to control Josh Allen under 30, right? To not let that team score 30. And then if Josh Allen's scoring 30, how's Aaron Rodgers scoring 17 on that defense, right?
Sure.
And Aaron Rodgers.
Those big point spreads are really tough.
I don't like them normally, but I like them here. My thing here is, my other logic is this, right? Aaron Rodgers, and I've never liked him. I don't think you've liked him, right? We've talked about it. A lot of people don't like his off the field attitude, and I think it's fair, but he's been successful on the thing.
Yeah.
When you take away Devontae Adams from him, and now, I mean, Randall Cobb is out, but Randall Cobb is not a major piece anymore. I don't are the Packers getting by on their name with some? I mean, the Bills should blow them out.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was this time where they had these draft picks and they decided to get quarterbacks.
All right, well, this is your favorite topic to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, here we are years later, and you didn't do nothing with your draft picks, and now you got no offensive weapons, and your best offensive weapon said bye-bye.
Yeah.
So you suck.
So to recap, I like the Thursday night game, Baltimore +1 at Tampa. I like Denver +2.5, a neutral site game in London. I like the Vikings giving 3.5 at home to Arizona, who is putrid. I'm going to use that word again because I don't get to use it that often. I like the Lions +3.5 at home versus the Dolphins. And I like the Bills Sunday night national game -11 Green Bay Packers.
Those are some good picks.
Yeah, I just didn't. There was just nothing. It's not that they're bad picks, but a lot of times, like lately,
okay,
I've been looking at the spreads. I'm like, wow, like I'm on that.
Okay.
And this week, for whatever reason, when I looked at the lines, I didn't get that feel like I normally do.
So you were you're more analytical than I am. I'm more like I pick on emotion, right? Like, let's
Don't
go.
do that.
Okay, I know. But you don't like the Jets Patriots game?
Oh, that was, if there was another game that I was going to pick, that was it. And
going to kick some ass this week.
So the Jets, I'm almost find it disrespectful.
+2.5 too.
Thank you.
They're going to win it outright.
Thank you.
+2.5.
The Patriots suck.
Yeah.
Right. And now, would you be surprised? Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's step back.
They don't even know who the quarterback is.
Hold on. I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's say Bill Belichick and his Patriots come in here and beat the Jets 31-14. Would you be surprised?
If the Patriots beat 31-14.
All right, let's just say the Patriots win by 10. Forget the score.
Okay.
The Patriots come in,
win by 10. Would I be
Patriots
surprised? Yes. I think the
You
Patriots
would?
suck. I think the
I wouldn't be
Patriots suck.
surprised.
I think there's a dumpster fire. I think, dude, first drive of the game, the whole home field is chanting the backup quarterback's name.
Okay. I like, because we do pick the local games, I do like the Jets +2.5 at home. And I did find the spread a little bit disrespectful that the Jets are 5-2 and the Patriots suck and the Jets are getting 2.5 points.
Yeah.
So I like that bet. The only
Points
thing
at home, that's your rule.
Yeah, the only thing, well, that was one of the first rules ever taught to me by someone who taught me sports gambling. The only thing that concerns me.
Yeah.
Well, I should say the only thing. It's the Jets after all. There's multiple things that concern me. But Breece Hall now is out for the season as the running back. So
but they
signed Robinson from Jacksonville, but he's not Breece Hall.
I get it. But he got hurt like midway to the last game and they were able to truck along.
They shouldn't be, in my eyes, a 2.5 point underdog. I thought when I looked at that line, the Jets would be like a 2 or 3 point favorite. So that's really a 6 point swing, if you think about it, in the complete other direction. But we'll see. The other local game, and I'm going to say because I could say it for Pat over here because I know that's Pat's name. But I never know.
Yeah.
He's wearing the flag. He's like wearing the flag. Your New York Giants.
Yes.
Right? Not New York's Giants. Dougie's New York Giants go on a 6-hour flight across the country up to the Pacific Northwest to play the
Seattle
Seahawks. I believe the Giants are, I will confirm this right. They're getting 3 points. That's what I thought. Yes.
Giants are going to win it outright. They don't need the points. Thanks for the free points.
So apparently, looking at this right now, the Seahawks opened as a 3.5. That is a lot different than 3 with the field goal.
Yep.
I would have been all over the Giants at 3.5. Now, I did take the Giants getting 3 points last week in Jacksonville, and it worked out for me. I would probably go with the Giants again.
Now, do you wait and maybe that goes back up to 3.5, or you take it now at 3 and hopefully it doesn't go to 2?
I don't think it'll go to. I don't think it'll go to 2.5. We'll see. That's a hard. You know what? That's why it wasn't in my picks. That's a hard game to pick because I know I know you like the Giants and all that stuff.
Oh, baby.
But you can see a situation where the Giants win on Sunday.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I could kind of just as easily see a situation where, like, you know what, Seattle wins 20-16 and a fourth quarter drive by the Giants falls short. Like, you wouldn't be surprised.
The Green Bay game was like, a good game to win, right? You always want to beat the Packers. The Ravens game put us on the map, right? This game's the mentally tough game. Can you withstand being 7-1 and because it's not like the Seahawks are a great team. I think the Ravens are a better team than the Seahawks.
That is true.
So we proved ourselves against the Ravens. We're here to play, but now can we be mentally tough where the next week we can go in and beat a mediocre team?
So the Giants after this week, and it's a good point that you just bring up here. They have their bye next week.
Yep.
Right. So then they have back-to-back home games versus awful teams, Houston and Detroit. So let's do glasses half empty approach.
Okay.
The Giants lose Sunday in Seattle.
Let's say that out loud.
No, because you're saying it's a mentally tough game.
Yes.
You would be 6-2.
Mm-hmm.
You then come home and play two really bad teams coming off your bye. You should win them
8-2.
8-2. At worst, I would think that sets you going into Dallas on Thanksgiving.
Which
at 8-2.
We're playing Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, you're the Thanksgiving Day game in Dallas.
In Dallas,
Yes.
Damn it! That would have been dope if it was here.
No, the Thanksgiving is always in Dallas. You know that in Detroit. So at worst, and again, I hate to assume you're just going to beat the Texans and Lions because you never know. But that Thanksgiving Day game at 4:30 is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
how much are flights to Dallas?
Your pregnant wife is not letting you escape on Thanksgiving. There's no chance. And then after that, they play the really bad Commanders. So
the who?
The Commanders.
The what?
We're not getting into that here. I know what you're trying to do.
So anyway, so we're looking at a season that ends around like 10-2.
Well, you got to play 17 games, man.
All right, never mind. So, but like if you, what was the last year? If you had 8 wins last year, you were making the playoffs.
You can get in, and there's an extra playoff team in that. Remember, there's a 17.
Yeah.
All right. Close your eyes for those watching on camera. We're going to play a little quick game before we go with the Giants schedule on the fly. We're going to make this up.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I am going to tell you who you play rest of the way. You just say win or loss.
Why do I have to close my eyes for this? But okay.
Okay. That's fine. Because it looks. All right. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. All right. Giants at Seahawks. Win or lose.
We should win.
I just want win or lose. Don't tell me we should win or lose.
Win.
Giants home versus Texans.
Win.
Giants home versus Lions.
Win.
Giants at Cowboys.
There should be a third choice.
No.
That's going to be a good game.
No.
But we got to win because we lost the first time against the Cowboys. We got to adapt and win.
Give me win or loss.
Win.
Okay. Giants home versus the Washington Commanders.
Oh, that's a win.
Giants home versus the Eagles.
If I how I am.
Come on.
So you know how I am. If I was going to pick a game to lose, it'd be that one.
Okay.
But I'm going to say win.
Okay. Giants at Commanders.
Win.
Okay. So far you picked 7 games and the Giants are winning all 7. This guy doesn't pick with emotion. Okay. Giants at Paul Farrington's Vikings.
Win.
Okay. That's it. Giants home versus the lowly Colts.
Win.
Okay. Giants at the Eagles.
At the Eagles. That would be another one where it'd be iffy.
Win or loss, Doug.
I'll take my loss there.
Okay. So Doug has them going 15-2.
Hey,
This is amazing.
We beat Brady 17-1, baby.
So you can tune in on July 8th, January 8th, when the Giants will end their regular season in Philadelphia to see if the Giants are 15-2.
15-2. You heard it here first.
You think this dude, Pat? This dude picks with emotion? I mean, what?
You heard it here first. 17-2, shocking the world.
Hey, Doug, your team is going up against the 1972 undefeated Miami Dolphins. Win. I sense a theme.
You gotta win.
Okay.
So all right. We're gonna clip that
Pat's
when I'm
die
right
over here. He's like falling out of his chair in your performance.
When I'm right, we're gonna clip that. Okay.
Okay.
Now it might give or take 1 or 2, but 7. I firmly believe most of those games we can win. We should win. We need to be mentally tough.
Can you do me a favor? Can I ask a favor?
Yeah.
Of you,
yeah.
Actually. There's another show taping here later today, which I believe is coming on after.
He'll agree with me.
I want you to play that game on the air with him.
Okay.
He's a Giant season ticket holder.
Okay.
And I want to know where he ends up.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you when we go live, can you in the comments remind me just so I don't forget?
If I'm paying attention, I gotta go to work. Yes.
Yes.
Someone text me, I will play the game.
But I mean, it's not far fetched. The only games
it's 15-2.
The only games are the Eagles and the Cowboys are the only ones in that on that list are tough.
Time out. You have the
Who the hell are the Commanders?
You have the Eagles twice. I'm not saying the schedule overall as a whole is bad, but I'm saying it's not like there's games you could.
I'm only going to be off by 3 at most.
You have 2 games versus the Eagles. You're at the Vikings. You have to play at Dallas, and you are in Seattle.
The only games that worry me are Dallas and Eagles.
Okay. We'll see on Tuesday if he's right.
So that's 3 games. That's 3 games. I could be over it. So can I have that leeway of 3 games?
A 3-game margin of error? No, that's huge.
17-2. For 15-2, I'm picking.
15-2 is a lot different than 12-5. That's a huge margin of error.
Okay, you don't have to give me all 3 games.
What's your margin of error?
Give me 2 more. Give me 2 margins.
Okay. I still think that's generous. Before we go, I'm going to just ask Pat on the side. He's crazy, right? 15-2. You're a Giant fan.
Yeah, I'm a Giants fan.
We're going to come over here. And I love him, but
here's what's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. Giants are gonna go 11-6 on the season. We're gonna lose, unfortunately, to the Cowboys at home again.
Why are you even saying that out loud?
1-1 against the Eagles. We'll go 1-1 against the Commanders. I don't think we win the Seahawks. Other than that, we win out. So it's 11-6 on the season.
We'll see which one of you. So I got 11-6 versus 15-2, which means it'll end up in the middle. It'll be 13-4. That's it for us today.
Time out. You said I was crazy.
Yes.
When I said I bet $10 on the Giants play the Bills in the Super Bowl.
I still think you're crazy, but the odds are better in your direction, but I still think it's crazy.
Okay.
I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right too. I'm it's far-fetched. Yeah, it's a little crazy, but it's not that far-fetched.
Okay.
So
but you know
I
what?
don't
To
think
your
it's
credit,
that far-fetched. 15.
To your credit, when you made the bet, it was even more far-fetched.
Yes.
So give yourself credit on
Thank
that.
you.
That's it today. We appreciate you guys listening to us. We appreciate we'll put Dolphriki's handle up there one more time. We appreciate Allie Goodman's 2022 NFL Fan of the Year for joining us. We will be back on our normal slot on Tuesday.
Yep.
Check out the Bamboozle Project. Check out all your MYPB gear. I know there's been a lot of orders going out there. So if you're one of those people that have been ordering, I hope you're happy with your purchase. And if not, don't let us know because we don't really have anything to do with it. But I'm happy. I'm hoping you're happy with it. And you can send your questions at any time to mypbshow@gmail.com. And you can DM us your questions as well. With the Rangers, hang tight. We'll cover them more on Tuesday. Hopefully they right the ship after what's been a really, really bad week. But like I said, do not sound the panic button yet. Have a good one.